Hey everybody, welcome to Truckstop.com's deep dive into our private loads overview. This is 20 questions with Kevin. My name's Nate. This is Kevin. He's a product manager with Truckstop. And we thought what we'd do today is just go through the newest tool that Truckstop has to offer, which is our private loads, both carriers and brokers. So Kevin, thanks for being here. First and foremost, really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Nate. Thanks for having me. Really excited about this product.
Yeah, as we should be, right? Because this is something that has been long awaited from multiple different partners here at Truckstop and customers from feedback as well. So let's go ahead and dive in. What are private loads on truckstop.com? Let's just do a quick overview. And how do they differ from public load postings?
Yeah, so private loads really aims for exclusivity of network, right? So from the broker side, we've heard loud and clear that brokers want to work with their most trusted carriers. They want to get their loads in front of carriers who fit their requirements, who maybe they've worked with in the past, get their loads in front of them earlier and focus specifically towards those carriers. On the carrier side, it's similar. You want to work with a broker that you're familiar with. For carriers, it's the same concept. It's familiarity. It's brokers that you've onboarded with and likely have worked with in the past. And these loads aren't going to everybody. They're going to a specific set of carriers who have onboarded. So less competition for loads and loads that maybe you've taken in the past or fit your needs.
Okay. Why did Truckstop.com create a private loads feature in the first place?
Yeah, we've had tons of feedback from customers on both sides of the fence, our brokers and our carriers. For brokers, they want calls from carriers that are qualified to take their loads that they've worked with in the past. And for carriers, they want to spend less time calling on loads with brokers they haven't worked with in the past or maybe still need to onboard with. It's easier to get to those loads and get moving. So we've seen that private loads is beneficial to all customers.
Okay. So who typically uses private loads? Brokers, carriers, or both?
It's both. It's one of those products that has benefits for both sides. For brokers, it's giving access to freight to your specific network. And for carriers, it's exclusive access not everybody has.
Awesome. Let's dive into some functionality and access points here. I'm a broker. How do I post a private load and how do I control who sees it?
Yeah, so on the posting side, private loads is available across all of our posting channels. So that includes manually posting. We have a checkbox that I can show you right here on the load manager side. So for quick post, you just check this box and that load is immediately private. The same thing with our standard load post. We have the checkbox for private loads. It's also available on our bulk upload. So if you're one of those customers that's uploading a spreadsheet, we now have a field where you can mark true false for private load, as well as our API customers. Feel free to reach out if you'd like to integrate with the private loads feature. It's part of your API package today, and we can just add that field. So available across all channels, and also you can edit this field. So if it's private right now, you can flip it to public whenever you're looking to get more exposure on the loads. As far as who can see it, this is controlled through our RMIS product. We're really bringing these two platforms together and leveraging the breadth of both of those networks. If I am a broker that's an RMIS customer and I post a private load, it will go out to only the carriers that are onboarded with me, onboarded and certified. So they've met all my needs, they filled out my carrier packet, and they are onboarded. That's how today visibility is controlled.
Okay. So as a carrier, how can I get access to private loads? Do I need to be invited, part of a specific program? Let's dive into some education points real quick.
Yeah, so the way private loads is available to all of our carriers. The way that you would see a private load is if you're onboarded with an RMIS customer that is posting private loads.
Yeah. So Kevin, as a carrier, how do I get access to private loads? You said something about being verified, but do I need to be invited, part of a specific program?
So the private loads feature is available to all of our carriers. The way you would see private loads is if you're onboarded with a broker in RMIS. So the brokers that you onboarded with control the loads. So that's the main way to get access.
You touched on RMIS. Can we go over what products Truckstop.com does provide to manage the private load access or build carrier networks?
Yeah, so RMIS is our onboarding product. This is how a broker onboards new carriers, checks their qualifications, and makes sure that they're ready to go to move their loads. So that RMIS RMIS product is what is going to control visibility for private loads.
Awesome. I'll stop real quick and say that if you're interested in either RMIS or private loads, whether you're a customer, whether you're a TMS company, please comment down below and then also reach out to me, Nate Ivie, Senior Partnerships Manager, so that we can show you what that looks like if we already have an integration or if you're looking to integrate with Truckstop as well. Awesome, Kevin. Let's continue down the line here. What are the benefits for brokers from using the private loads feature?
For brokers, it's really managing the time of your dispatchers is one main advantage, right? You know that you have control over who's seeing that load. So the inbound calls are higher value in terms of they meet some specific criteria. We've also seen to this point load engagement on the carrier side. Carriers love private loads. So more loads are getting more views, which just means better negotiation power for a broker.
Which in turn, I think we can safely say can help a broker create long-term private networks of preferred carriers without needing to leave truckstop.com.
That's correct. We hear from brokers and carriers that the thing they want the most is consistency in freight, consistency of carriers that you trust. This is a way to build that network and actively use it going forward and get your loads to those trusted partners.
So Kevin, you know that everywhere you go right now, it's all about fraud and helping to reduce the exposure to it. Would you say that private loads helps reduce the exposure to double brokering and fraud in general?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. We mentioned that private loads is one of those features that helps both sides. It's true for fraud as well, right? Because of that onboarding certified status that a carrier needs to have with in order to see private loads. That means both brokers and carriers are going through more rigorous fraud detection as part of our RMIS product before they can even see private loads, before they can move private loads.
I know we talked a lot about brokers. Carriers, we haven't forgotten about you as well. So we're going to switch gears here. What advantages do private loads offer to?
Yeah, there's a lot of advantages for carriers. For one, we see that loads are being posted with longer lead times. There's more time between posted date to pickup date, which means more flexibility for carriers in planning their schedule. There's also less competition on these loads. So this isn't a load that everybody is seeing. This is a load that's more geared towards you. You have onboarded with that broker. You've likely worked with them in the past. You know how to work with them. So instead of being on hold or not getting a return call, you're more likely to get in touch with that broker immediately and plan out your schedule. It's fast and it's more exclusive.
We're also seeing that because it's a smaller network of private loads for that broker, that they're paying better, or at least they're posting higher and they're moving more consistently than public ones because they already trust that carrier. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say. So I think brokers are willing to pay a bit more to have that comfort factor for a trusted carrier. So private loads creates that channel where they know their posted rate is being seen by trusted carriers.
We went through the broker side and we got to see what it looks like to post it. Can we go to the carrier side and show what that looks like as well?
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Okay, so I have a private load here at the top. This means that I am onboarded with this broker. They've posted it in a lane that I'm interested in, Houston to Chicago here, and it's you can see this P value here. That's going to denote whether it's a private load. And you can also sort by this column so you can bring those private loads to the top of your screen and look at those first. When you click the load, we have this new blue banner to show you what is a private load and make sure you know that this is a load that has more exclusive access. It's a bit different than a public load. So those are the key factors. We also have a filter that you can use to filter down to just private loads. So sorting, filtering, and we've added it to the load summary just so they're easy to find.
I got a little distracted. There's a new pin icon too that I haven't seen before on the board. Did that just come out too?
Yeah, we added this week. Actually, the Truckstop team is moving fast and we're trying to get as many tools for carriers to loads, compare loads. So it's going to keep coming. But yeah, that's a new feature we've added.
Boy, it's just fast and furious. I can't even keep up and I work here. All right. Good to know. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate the education for myself. I guess we all learn something new every day. So from a carrier perspective, how can a carrier improve their chances of being added to a broker's private list? Is there anything that they can do, or is it more of just reaching out to the broker who has RMIS in the first place and asking to be connected?
Yeah, so the main thing is onboarding with those brokers and moving loads and building that trust. But also tell your brokers that you like private loads, because the more our broker partners hear that, the more likely they are to post and see the value. One side brings value to the other. So have those conversations with your brokers about posting private loads, because that's just going to get you better access to freight.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's look at some best practices and tips here. As far as if I'm a carrier and I'm looking at this and I want to keep up and there's private loads that are popping up and there's public ones, is there a way for me to compare them all at the same time? Or am I just going to have to go off of that? Can you walk me through that if I'm a carrier?
Absolutely. And a little background in what makes our private loads feature a bit unique is that we are putting private and public loads in the same place. So it doesn't interrupt your workflow. We're just adding private loads to what you already do. So with those loads being in line together, you can easily compare private and public. You don't need to go to a separate load board. You don't need to do separate searches. They are right in your search results. So if rate's most important, if pickup date's most important, all these fields, you still have the ability to sort and filter on them, but now you will know whether it's a private load or a load directly within your search results.
And with how many filters there are, I'm looking at the top right now, and you've got rate per mile, weight, length, company. It really is a sandbox. It's all going to be dependent on how you want to build that sandcastle.
Exactly. And whatever workflow you have today likely works for your business. All we're trying to do is enrich that with the private loads feature and add those into your workflow.
So it sounds like the best way to get added to the private load functionality is reaching out to that RMIS broker. And the more that we see private loads get added to the board, the more popular it's going to become, which means more brokers are just going to keep on posting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It benefits each other. So the more loads there are, the more carriers are going to love this private loads feature. And on the flip side, the more carriers that are searching using private loads, the more brokers are going to be willing to post. We're really trying to provide benefit to both sides and get that flywheel spinning and make this feature even bigger.
Is there an additional cost to carriers?
There is not. Private loads is available to all carriers in all packages for Truckstop. The way you'll see private loads is if it's posted in the lanes you search in for onboarded brokers.
Okay, got it. Let's do a final takeaway here. If you could give one piece of advice to someone that's just starting to use the private loads platform, what would it be?
Yeah, so on the broker side, I would say start to experiment with the longer lead times. We see that brokers that post earlier, that private loads feature, you're just getting your loads in front of more carriers. You want your load to be available at the time that perfect carrier, that perfect set of carriers are on the board, and that private loads feature allows you to control visibility. So you're not getting calls from just anybody, you're getting calls from your carriers as that load's available. For carrier, I would say focus on filtering, sorting, make sure you're checking for private loads in your searches today, because it could be further down your search results. And who knows, it could be the perfect load to fit your networks. I would say keep an eye out and focus on those loads, because of all the benefits we've talked about so far, there is value to that private load.
Boy, we're going to have to do more videos, because I'm looking at this going, okay, in the last, 6 months, we've done load views, factorability checks, the brokers that work with new authority filter, and we've opened that up to and now we're adding private loads, which is by far the biggest launch that we've had in quite some time. Really appreciate your time, everything that you're doing for Truckstop.com and for the community, for both carriers and brokers. And thanks for stopping by, Kevin. Really excited about this one.
Absolutely, Nate. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone watching, really appreciate your time as well. And this could not have made possible without the feedback that we received from you in the first place. So any feedback you have, good, bad, or indifferent, about private loads, what you like, what you wish would be different, please either drop it down below or reach out to me. I'll get that to the team and we'll get to work to make it even better. All right, Kevin, it's about that time. Really appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Nate.